Hello, everybody. Welcome to Heartlight Vedic Astrology. Today's talk is going to be kind of short. It's a fairly simple concept, but useful nonetheless. So the concept in Vedic astrology or Jyotish, it's called Bhavat Bhavam. So that's translated house of the house. Yeah. So let's go through it and see what it means. All right, so if you're new to Vedic astrology or Jyotish or my videos, all of my teaching videos on the subject are in my concepts playlist. They can all be found there. And wherever you see a double asterisk in one of my talks, that means there's a teaching video on that topic if you want to learn more. So for this particular video, you might look at some of these other videos here, again, if you're a newbie. So the first one is North, South, and East Indian style charts. I also cover Western charts in that video, but I don't I didn't put it in the title. There's also introduction to reading a birth chart, the Lagna, also known as the Ascendant, rising sign, first house, and also introduction to the constellations or Rashis. Then I have a growing playlist on each house or bhava, like it's known as in Sanskrit, and the symbolism of each house. And this is going to be super important for this talk. Okay? Okay, so let's take a look at, let's put this into action here, this concept. Okay, so Bhavat Bhavam means house of the house. And then if you look on the left here, I have a few words written. So at the top in blue, Bhavat, it's equals, but sorry, it's difficult to talk. I'm wondering if that's because Mercury and Saturn are almost in war with each other. 'Cause I'm just like, I don't know. I don't usually have this much trouble talking. So hopefully I'll get through this. This is my second time actually doing. Hopefully it won't be a third. But anyway, Bhavat Bhavam, essentially what it signifies is it's a multiplier of house symbolism. Okay. So in this chart, this is a North Indian style chart, and the top square there with the little 7 in the bottom corner is the Lagna, also known as the Ascendant, rising sign, first house. Okay, so that little 7 represents the seventh zodiac of the constellation. The seventh zodiac of the constellation is a Libra or Tula in Sanskrit, and Libra is ruled by Venus. Okay, so in this chart, I have Venus, the ruling planet of the first house, and actually the whole chart. The first, or we could also say the first house lord. Venus is the first house lord, and Venus has gone to the first house. So this creates a Bhavat Bhavam. First house lord has gone to the first house because when we count houses, we count inclusively. Okay, so if a planet has gone one house away, it means it stays in its own in the house. Yeah. Okay. So, what does this mean? Like in this particular chart, if we have Venus that rules the rising sign, if we have Venus that rules the first house. So if Venus rules the first house, we're talking about either a Libra rising chart or we're talking about a Taurus rising chart. Okay. But again, here we're talking about Libra rising. So, uh, in the first house, among other things, and these houses represent many things. So I just took, the probably most obvious basic symbolism of each house just to again, reinforce and teach the concept here. But with Venus, the ruling planet, first house, in the first house, among other things, represents the self. So you can kind of think of it as self goes to self, which could mean that somebody has many identities, like maybe they're constantly reinventing themselves. It could also mean a lot of self development, a lot of energy going towards self. Okay, so again, that's just one thing that the first house represents and what a Bhavat Bhavam could mean for the first house. Now, again, you have to, work the Bhavat Bhavan concept into the rest of the chart. What are the conditions of the planets? What are the planets? What do the planets represent? Not just the house represents, but you integrate all of this. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at the second house now. The second house, we in the North Indian style chart, we count counterclockwise. For the second house, we go kind of backwards here. this triangle in the upper left corner that has a little 8 in the corner. The 8 represents the eighth constellation of the zodiac, or Scorpio, Vrishika, and Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Okay. So, well, first of all, so obviously already with this concept, you're going to need to know the ruling planets of all the signs, especially if you want to eyeball charts and you don't want to look everything up, then you really have to know them cold. Okay, but anyway, Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Where has Mars gone in this chart? Mars has gone to the third house. Okay, so if you count from the second house, start there, count the second house 1, count the third house 2, the second house lord has gone 2 houses away. And that's what that kind of script under MA. MA is the symbolism I use for Mars. So 2L, second lord, goes to B. B is Baba, or house. Second lord has gone to the second house, or 2 houses away. Okay. So what would this mean? What does the second house represent? The second house represents family. So if family has gone to family, right? The second house, right? The second house of the second house, family of family. This could be like somebody who has a lot of family members, extended family. Is just one example of what the second house represents, especially in terms of this Bhavat Bhavam idea concept. Okay, then if we look at the third house, what is the third house here? The third house, again, it's the upper left side of the horoscope, a little triangle with a 9 in the corner. The 9 represents the ninth constellation of the zodiac, which is Sagittarius, or Danu. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Okay, so where's Jupiter gone? Jupiter's gone to the fifth house. But again, we think of it as the third lord, Jupiter, has gone, count inclusively, 9, 10, 11, right? If you watch the numbers here, the third lord has gone 3 houses away. And what does the third house represent? Among other things, the third house represents siblings. So siblings of siblings. A lot of siblings could be. I mean, the third house represents other things too, like neighbors and stuff like that. So neighbors of neighbors, maybe somebody lives in a huge apartment complex with like hundreds of people, you know, or in a big neighborhood or crowded city, as opposed to, just a little cottage on land where you don't see neighbors for miles and miles. Okay. All right, so let's do one more. So then the fourth house here is the diamond on the far left side of the chart. There's a 10 in the corner. The 10 represents the 10th constellation of the zodiac, or Capricorn, Makara. It's ruled by Saturn. Okay. So the fourth house lord is Saturn. And where is Saturn gone? Saturn's gone to the seventh house. How many houses away from the fourth house is that? Well, we start at the fourth house, count 1, go to the fifth house 2, go to the sixth house 3, go to the seventh house 4. So Saturn has gone 4 houses away. We have a Bhavat Bhavam of the fourth house. So again, if this was a real chart, I mean, we don't know about the other planets, but already we've got 4 Bhavat Bhavams going on here. This is somebody who's going to be like spinning, with multiple family members, multiple siblings, multiple, possibly homes, because again, the fourth house represents home. Fourth house also represents education. So if the fourth house lord has gone 4 houses away to the seventh house, maybe that means somebody has a bunch of degrees. Yeah, you see how that works? Okay. So I've done 4 houses for you. For practice, what I would suggest is actually you complete this chart or find another chart that's interesting to you and, figure out like, okay, what would a Bhavam look like for the fifth house lord and the sixth house lord and the seventh house lord, and what would they mean potentially? Yeah. So you get a little practice that way. Okie doke. Okay. So that was Bhavat Bhavam. Uh, as always, I appreciate you stopping by, listening to one of my talks. All of my teaching videos, again, on the subject of Vedic astrology, are my concepts playlist. You can find them all there. I do offer individual birth chart readings on Zoom, so if you're interested in that, you can email heartlightastro@yahoo.com for more info. I have another YouTube channel on natural medicine, which includes other Vedic arts such as Ayurveda and yoga, as well as other paradigms of medicine such as naturopathic medicine and homeopathy. So if that's interesting to you, that's out there also. The name of that channel is Nature Source Care. So as always, I hope you found this interesting, useful, and helpful to you as you learn to navigate the energy cycles of your own life. So until the next one, take care. Namaste.